Now, one of the biggest obstacles that I see in sales is the lack of confidence. You see, if you're not confident in yourself, how can you expect another person to be confident in buying your products or services? So in this video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you exactly how you can build up your sales confidence to close more deals. Now, confidence is not something that everyone is fortunate to be born with. I remember when I was younger, I was a shy, awkward kid that was so afraid to talk that I would just never say anything. And I was totally the opposite from confident. But over the years, as I became more aware of this and I wanted to make change, I slowly built my confidence up. Not just only my ability to sell and my selling confidence, but also really just being confident in myself. Because once you become confident in yourself, it's gonna be a lot more easier to persuade other people to be confident to buy something from you. So in this video, like I was saying before, we're gonna show you exactly how you can build up your self-confidence and your sales confidence so that you can go out there and close more deals. Now, before we go ahead and get started, make sure you give this video a like, because every like does really help this video reach new audiences. And if you wanna see more training like this every single week, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you wanna get notifications, make sure you hit the notification bell as well. Let's go ahead and dive into exactly how you are going to build your sales confidence. The first thing that we're gonna talk about is preparation, okay? Now, here's the interesting thing about confidence. So the lack of confidence can actually come from the idea of fear. And fear actually stems from the unknown, right? Sometimes we are afraid of things that we don't know will happen. For example, let's say you are gonna go into a sales meeting and you're not sure whether the customer is gonna like you, gonna like your product or service. Maybe they're gonna completely reject you. Maybe they're not even gonna show up for the meeting, right? So there's a lot of fears and unknowns that go on in our heads. And because there are so many unknowns, we become afraid or we become paralyzed by what could go wrong, even if nothing ever goes wrong. So really, in this situation, the real problem is the stories that we're telling ourselves in our head. Oh, this can go wrong, this can go wrong, I might lose the deal, I might get fired from my job, and all these things that may or may not be true. So as we have more negative thoughts circling in our heads, we become more emotionally fearful and afraid. And the more fearful we become, the more negative thoughts that pop in our head. So it's this vicious cycle of fear, negative thoughts, and sometimes we can fall into this downward spiral and just become so paralyzed that we don't want to make phone calls, we don't want to send those emails, we don't want to follow up because we are afraid sometimes of what may happen. So to counter this fear and to build up your confidence so that you can make those calls and you can talk to those customers, the first thing you want to do is prepare. So when you think about going into any type of sales meeting, or maybe you're about to cold call, you want to prepare for exactly what you feel might happen. Now, of course, you never know exactly what will happen in any situation, but you can prepare to the best of your ability to handle situations that you know probably will happen. And if things, come out of left field, you are also prepared to handle things and handle the unexpected. So that means rehearsing your lines, knowing how to pitch your product or service, knowing which questions to ask your customer to get them talking and understanding their pain points. I remember when I first started my sales career at Oracle, I created a sales script for myself and I would practice. I would practice in front of the mirror, I would record myself, practicing my script, and I just kept doing it over and over until I knew it front and back, just like the back of my hand. And obviously in a sales meeting, the meeting isn't always gonna go exactly according to script. That's just how life goes. However, when you have that framework and have a direction of how you are going to handle certain situations, even if they don't go exactly the way you planned, you're prepared and you're confident and you know exactly what you're gonna do if it goes as planned. And if there's any variance, you can kind of adjust on the fly. But if you don't prepare at all and you don't know what you're gonna say in the beginning, the middle, you don't know what questions to ask, you're just completely lost. And so obviously you're gonna be afraid because you don't know exactly how the customer is gonna react to you. But I can tell you from personal experience, once you get that practice in and you know exactly what you're gonna do, what you're gonna say, and you're gonna handle all these situations, things become super predictable and you don't have to be afraid of anything because you already know what's gonna come. So like I was saying before, fear stems from the unknown, but if you prepare, you can remove the unknown unknown and remove that fear. Now, it's not enough just to prepare and read books and practice your script. We're gonna move into topic number 2, and that is actually getting sales experience to boost your sales confidence. The last thing you wanna do in sales is fall into the trap of watching too many videos, reading too many books about sales, and not actually doing any of the work. So, prepare what you can, but you gotta actually sell to get that experience. And how you wanna think of getting experience is that anytime you go into a sales situation, don't think of it like, oh, I'm gonna get the deal, I'm gonna lose a deal. Instead, think of everything as a learning experience. All you can really do is do your best in the moment. If the person buys, they buy. If they don't buy, then they don't buy. Whatever the case is, you should be okay and just continue to move on, and you do it again and again, and you collect that experience. You wanna think of every sales meeting almost like a data point. What did you do right? What did you do wrong? What can you improve? What can you try next time? Maybe you need a little help here. Maybe you can ask your coworker or something like that. So the thing in sales is like, you don't have to do everything perfect the first time. And the majority of the time, you're probably gonna mess up quite a lot, especially if you're just starting out in sales. But that's totally okay, because that's part of the process, and that learning experience that you're gonna get is gonna help you improve your selling ability, and you're just gonna get better over time. But you have to get that experience, and you have to be able to reflect on that experience and think about what you can do better for next time. Okay, so far we covered 2 things, right? We covered that you gotta prepare and you gotta go out there and get experience. Now, everybody understands these things, but now another problem that I see a lot of people have is that they lack the motivation to actually do anything, right? They ask me, Patrick, how do I stay motivated? How do I get motivated? How do I make these phone calls? And let me tell you how it is. A lot of people who fall into the trap, it's like analysis paralysis, right? They wanna read all the sales books to make sure they're ready, make sure their sales script is ready, make sure their cold email is ready. And in reality, some people prepare far too long and they never get anything done. Now, I am a big believer in preparing and things like that. However, you gotta put a time limit, and this is how you're gonna motivate yourself. So let's say you spend 2 days, complete, 8-hour days working on your sales script. On the 3rd day, you have to make your first phone call. How you motivate yourself? Well, you're gonna be motivated to make that sales script as good as possible because you have a hard deadline. Once you have that hard deadline, stop studying, stop watching videos, stop, doing anything, and just do what you need to do to actually get that experience. So if it's to cold call, then you just have to make that cold call regardless of whether or not you feel ready. Or if it's to generate leads with lead generation like cold email and LinkedIn, you gotta just send it. People don't reply, they don't reply. But if they do, then you get that experience and you can continue to move forward. The worst thing you can do is study forever and not do anything. And those are like situations where, sometimes somebody, goes to school just for the sake of going to school because they feel like they're doing something, but they're not really doing anything. You do not want to fall into that trap. You just want to set a hard time limit on your study, your preparation, and then you just gotta go. And how you stay motivated? Put a time limit and just do it. No excuse, just do, and you're gonna be motivated to just get the job done once you have a time limit. And the last thing I'll say about that topic is that a lot of people, they feel like they're just not ready. They're not ready to do XYZ, not ready to make those cold calls in the morning. And the thing is, you're never gonna be ready. You just have to do and learn from experience and experience the pain of messing up, because that's totally okay, which actually transitions nicely into our next topic, and that is actually learning from your pains. So it's natural for human beings to want to avoid pain, right? Nobody wants to be heartbroken. Nobody wants to be rejected. People don't go out there into the world to experience pain, right? They want to enjoy happiness and pleasure and fun things. Why would you want to experience pain? However, if you are in sales, pain is the name of the game. You have to experience pain because not everyone is going to buy your products or services. Actually, a majority of people are not going to buy. Only a small percentage of people that you actually talk to will purchase. And that's totally okay, because anytime you experience any type of pain, whether it's, sending a bad email or making a cold call and somebody rejects you or anything like that, understand that pain is a blessing. Pain is the signal, because the more pain you experience, it's your body telling you that, hey, this is something you can learn from, you can make some changes and improve. People that don't experience any pain, how do they know what's right and what's wrong, right? That's just like smooth sailing. And sometimes people will actually enter professions where it's only smooth sailing, they don't have to experience any pain, but the problem is that they don't really grow, right? Because they don't put themselves in situations where they may lose. However, in sales, you may be losing every single day. So the reality is you have to embrace pain. Anytime you feel an objection, anytime you feel a rejection, anytime you're so close to closing that deal and then the prospect just says, nope, we're not gonna do it anymore, and you feel that hurt inside of all that work that you put in, that is just the reality of how sales is. But instead of looking at these things as problems, you wanna look at it as opportunities for you to grow. So anytime you experience pain, you're gonna feel hurt. That's totally okay. Let the emotions pass through, but understand that there's always a lesson in every pain you experience. So to wrap everything all together, right? If you really want to build your confidence in sales, let's go ahead and summarize what we talked about. The first thing you wanna do is prepare. Prepare for sales situations, prepare for the worst, remove the fear of the unknown, and you're gonna be so much more confident. The second thing is get experience, because the more experience you have, the more familiar you are with the selling situations, and you're just gonna be a lot more confident. It's like just going in playing a sport, right? And the more experience you have, the more confident you feel, because you know exactly what's gonna happen. And once you prepare, you get that experience, and how you actually motivate yourself internally is that you do not want to have analysis paralysis. Make sure you have hard deadlines of when you're gonna get stuff done, and just do it based on the timeline that you create for yourself. And lastly, we talked about pain, right? A lot of people aren't confident because they're afraid of experiencing that pain. So instead of looking at pain as a problem, look at it as a blessing and an opportunity for you to learn, and embrace the pain as it comes to you, because that's gonna be common for you in sales. So once you do all these things, you wrap them all together, you will become more confident not only in yourself, but in sales, because you're preparing, you're studying, you're getting experience, you're experiencing pain, and you're learning to be okay with the pain, and you're okay with learning from your mistakes and moving forward. By just doing these things consistently every single day, it's just without a doubt, you're gonna be confident in yourself, you're gonna become confident in selling and selling to other people, and people are going to feel it, and they're gonna be confident in buying whatever it is that you have to offer. So that said, those are pretty much all the strategies when it comes to building your self-confidence. So if you made it to the end of this video, make sure you give this video a like, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. Now in the comments, go ahead and let me know what kind of value you're getting out of these videos. You know, do you find these tips useful? Does it resonate with you and your selling situation? Because I'm curious to know. And another thing is, what type of videos do you want me to make? Because do you want to see lead generation? Do you want to see mindset videos? Do you want sales skills, negotiations? I'm always curious to know what you guys want to see, so I can make these videos for you, because it's not about me, it's about me helping you guys become the best sellers that you can be. So with that said, my name is Patrick Dang. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.